Hello children, welcome back to the biology class. I hope you all are fine at home, completing your works on time, watching your videos on time and taking notes properly. You have to send the notes back to me. Some of you are sending and some of you are still, it's pending list. So please do that. You have to take notes while you listen to the class itself. You don't want to pass the video, you can take notes, or it better if you have the book with you, just mark, underline those definitions there, and you can write. If I am giving you some extra points, you can write it next to your book, on top of the book, or on sides of your book. Then you can send that things to me, and it has to be a neat one. That is the only condition. It should be a neat one. In future, if you refer that, you have to make use of it, right? We are not passing time, so you have to make use of it. So write it in a neat way. You can fix the things you can write the notes in stick notes, and you can fix the thing in your book itself. So you can do anything as you are normally doing in school. Okay, you are allowed to do that. So you have to take a photograph of that, convert that in PDF form, and then send it to us so that we can also notice that yes, you are doing your work, right? It's just an acknowledgement for checking whether you are completing your work on time or not, right? So now in last class we discussed about the reproduction, the definition of reproduction, and we started discussing about modes of reproduction. And I taught you about the definition of asexual and sexual reproduction. And we discussed about and we learned about spore formation and also about fragmentation too. Now in today's class we need to go with the rest. So the first what we are going to learn is about spore formation we discussed last day. So now vegetative propagation is the first one we are going to learn with. Before going to know what it is, we need to know the meaning of these two words. Propagation means developing a new plant, okay, cultivating a new plant. That is what the word propagation simply means. Cultivation of plant, that is what the word simply means. And then the word vegetative means the plant part or the plant entirely. We can divide the plant into two based on its function. A plant can be divided into vegetative parts, not only a plant, an animal also, vegetative part and also the reproductive part. So what is a vegetative part? A vegetative part is body part. Reproductive part means the part which is responsible for reproduction, especially sexual reproduction. So while we talk about that in plants, the part which is responsible for sexual reproduction is a flower, purely a flower. Flower is responsible for sexual reproduction. The rest of the plant parts, apart from flower, all the other plant parts are termed as vegetative parts. So if you think of a leaf, that is a vegetative part. If you are looking at a fruit, that's a vegetative part. If you are looking at if you are looking at the stem, that is a vegetative part. The root, that's a vegetative part. So anything which is apart from flower, that is vegetative part. Okay, so flower is the one, like androecium, gynoecium. You have studied that in last 7th standard. So androecium and gynoecium is responsible for the sexual reproduction. So those two are majorly considered as the sexual part or the reproductive part. Okay, so this is vegetative propagation, means we are propagating with the help of vegetative parts. Okay, so these are few examples which we are going to learn further. Now, first thing, in some plants, roots are helpful in vegetative propagation manners. Roots are used as a vegetative propagule. It can happen naturally or we are using it for cultivation. So the best known example for root as a propagule is, what is this? So yummy sweet potato, right? The sweet potato is the best known example for root which is working as a vegetative propagule. Okay, propagule is the structure which helps in propagation. So propagule, root as a vegetative propagule, the best known example is sweet potato. So in sweet potato, all these roots, these tuberous roots means accessory roots. So these tuberous roots or accessory roots, they will swell up and they will store the food. When the leaves are doing photosynthesis, these roots will be storing their food matter. This stored food matter will be preserved there for some time, and later, in later years or during when there is a condition, like this is regularly happening in their normal lifetime, when they are thriving well when they are getting enough sunlight, when they are getting enough water. They will be flourishing well and they will be doing photosynthesis, and all the food matter used to be stored in the storage organ. In this sweet potato, the storage organ is the root. So in root, the food is being stored. When in case if the plant is getting some drought condition or some unfavorable condition for its survival, what would happen? The upper part or the part which is present above the soil may get desiccate or will get dry up, and this parts will be found underneath the soil, and later again when they are once again when the condition comes back, when they are receiving the favorable condition again, this plant starts to sprout again. Okay, so this is a kind of natural adaptation found in this kind of plants which need favorable condition for their survival. So during this case of climatic changes, this will be working as a propagule. So they are preserving food matter for their future generation. That is what. And we are utilizing that. So how do we utilize that? We will be taking this plant, we will be uprooting this complete bunch of sweet potato, and we will be separating this one from this. For example, like if it is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I guess it's 8 different sweet potatoes are there, 8 sweet potatoes are there in this entire bunch. So from this we can raise 8 separate plant. We need to separate it and we have to plant it separate, then we will be getting separate plant. And again from this one potato, one sweet potato, again 8 or more bunch will be, we can get that more again. Okay, after the next season, when the next season comes, this will be again producing the whole bunch of sweet potato. So this is the way they are cultivated. So we are using root as a propagule because of their storage food matter found in it. Right? Got it clear? The next one. Stem as a propagule. Stem is being acted as a propagule. This is a video. I'll show you that. In this you can see that this is grass, isn't it? So in this grass, here you can see that one node is attached. This particular part is attached to the soil. So when we uproot that, you can see that this stem, this is the stem. So this stem is producing root in this part. Again in this part it is producing root. So in each and every node, this stem is producing its own root. And can you see the stem? This is just creeping on the soil, on the earth. So this is subaerial stem. This is not aerial. Aerial means they will stand straight. So this is subaerial stem. So this subaerial stem is creeping on the soil, and on each node they will be producing the roots. Here again root, here again root. So this is, and all the nodes, when the nodes reach the soil, they will be producing roots, so that they can crawl, they can cover an entire surface of the soil. So this is stem which is working as a propagule. The same way we can see the same thing in strawberry too. In strawberry also you can see the same kind of propagation. So in grass and strawberry we can see that stem works as a propagule. But the stem in this particular plants are creepy stem, that is subaerial stem. Subaerial, they may either be found on top of soil or little beneath the soil. So they are subaerial stem. And there are some, apart from subaerial stem, there are some underground stems too. This underground stem, there are few examples. There are more than some 5-6 examples are there totally, but for your syllabus you are going to learn only 3. So the first one is corm. Corm is actually a round fleshy structure. Corm you can see there in Amorphophallus or elephant foot. Elephant foot or Amorphophallus is the best known example for corm. So this corm, you can ask your parents about Amorphophallus or elephant foot. That's a very commonly used vegetable plant. And yeah, people used to say Chena Karangu or Karna Karangu. So that is what corm. In northern part of Tamil Nadu, they used to say this as Karna Karangu. Here in Kanyakumari, we are saying this as Chena or Chena Karangu. Okay, so that is corm, the Amorphophallus or elephant foot. So this elephant foot is the best known example for corm. And what happens in that structure? They are like, actually they are not in a somehow they manage to get into a spear-shaped structure. And I'll show you the picture if I could see. Oh no, here I didn't include the picture. I'll show you the picture. Yeah, come back. So this is Amorphophallus or elephant foot yam. So this is the best known example for comb. So you can see that the structure is more like a spear-shaped structure one. Here the food is completely stored in this spear-shaped structure, rounded fleshy structure. But this grows in a vertical direction, and they are forming a swollen base. So from this part the stem will be coming out. So the stem used to be there. So this is an underground part, but still this stem. This is a stem. How do we say that this is a stem? All these things may used to have nodes. So you can see this is a node. Here you can see a node. So these nodes later will be producing small buds, and they will be producing their own stem, and they will be working as a propagule. So there are so many nodes on this fleshy round stem which is found underground. Later this will be working as a propagule. And for rhizome, the best known example is, for the second one, rhizome, the best known example is ginger. Yeah, here in ginger, what is the difference between this ginger or rhizome and comb is the structure. Comb, you have seen there, it's a spear-shaped structure which is growing vertically. But here this will be growing always horizontally. The rhizome always used to grow horizontally, and you can see these lines or stripes on the ginger. These are nothing but the nodes, the nodal region, and from the nodal region later in future days, like when they are subjected to some unfavorable condition, they will get preserved there. They will be undergoing a dormant stage. When there is a chance to come again, like when they are receiving enough temperature, they will produce their own buds, and later they will be developing into a new shoot system, and later they will produce their own fibrous roots too. So this is rhizome. Okay, so what is the difference here between rhizome and comb? Only the shape. Comb grows as a vertical one, and rhizome grows in a horizontal one. Okay, and apart from that, how do we conclude this as a stem? How do we conclude? How can we justify that the rhizome, comb, all those things which are found underground are stem? Is these plant parts used to have their own nodes, which is completely absent in root. So root will never produce a node, and we can find in ginger, we can find the scaly leaves also. In real ginger, you just take a piece of ginger and notice it. You can see the real scaly leaves. In this part, a triangle shaped brown scaly thing will be there, which we can peel off. You just ask your mother, she will help you. Ask your mother or father, they will help you now. So this scaly leaf, the presence of the scaly leaf on the node, on the junction where the two segments meet, that is node. So that is also on justification for proving that this is a kind of stem, not root. And the next vegetative propagule is about bulb. Okay, bulb. While you hear the word itself, bulb, we know that that's the shape, right? So in bulb, what is happening in the bulb is, these bulbs usually they used to have one small apical bud at the bottom. I'll show you the picture. Yeah, this is onion. So in this bottom, you can see that onion. While you cut that open, you can see that there will be a small piece of stem, a triangle shaped stem, which will be found at the bottom of the onion, or at the bottom of the onion, on the bottom of the bulb shaped structure. So that is what apical bud. So from that bud, later on, this new stems will be growing. So spring onion sort of thing will be growing. This leaves will be growing. The stem will be growing, and this will be working as a vegetative propagule. So bulb, you would have seen that when onion is being preserved for a long time in the shelf, it will be producing new leaves from the top. From the top, they will be producing new leaves, and from the bottom, they will be producing roots also. So you can see that directly in your kitchen kitchen too. So that is the best known example for vegetative propagation. So onion is the best known example for bulb, which is an underground stem which is in the shape of a bulb, which is having fleshy leaves and also scaly leaves, and that has an apical bud and the axillary buds. This apical bud and axillary, this one is the real apical bud. An apical bud is producing this main branch, and these are axillary buds which are producing the sub branches too. So that's it about the bulb. And next thing is about tuber. Tuber, the best known example is potato. Yeah, so in potato, the tuber is the name we need to call the potato. So potato, the type is called tuber and the example is potato. So in tuber, this is also based on the shape, we have given another name. Why this is different from corm is they have eye of potato, or they have this nodal region contain an eye sort of structure. This part, this is the nodal part. So in this part you can see an eye shape of structure, an eye sort of structure is present there, that is formed by the node and the bud, the apical bud. So this is called eye of potato. So there are so many nodes, and all the node will be representing by an eye. So in each eye there will be a bud production, and later they will be producing into a new plant. So this is also a very excellent example for underground stem, which is modified into a vegetative propagule. And the next vegetative propagule is leaf. Have you ever seen this plant before? This is a very commonly grown plant in our area especially, and yeah, in our area. I don't know about the other side of Kanyakumari. That side is a little bit drier when compared with our part. We are towards this side, right? So we are towards the side of Kerala. So here it is a little bit humidity is a little bit more when compared with Nagarkovil side. So here you can see this plants a lot. So this plant is actually, this is a very good plant. This will be growing, it's a kind of ornamental plant. And what you can see in this plant is this leaf. This leaf will be later on producing the bud. This leaf will be producing buds later on. Okay, while they grow, they will be producing small, new small plant will be produced on the sides of the margin, on the margin of the leaf, and that will get pinch off and they will be producing new plant. This is just a small plant. This, yeah, this leaf, this is the leaf. From the margin, here you can see the notches. There is an up and down structure, the notches. From each notch there will be a small plant later. Okay, if you detach this leaf, keep it separate, not in an airtight way, keep it separate in a bowl or something. Later, sometimes we used to keep it inside the book also. So it will be producing small notches. We have a plant in our school too. The same plant we have it in our school too. So this is bryophyllum, and the buds they are producing in bryophyllum is termed as adventitious buds. So adventitious is a word which will be defining a part which is growing from an abnormal place. The roots are supposed to be grown from the seed part. The seed is responsible for the production of root. So we call that as primary root. And adventitious roots mean what you can see in banyan tree. The banyan tree trunk, the branches will be producing roots, no? So that root is also called adventitious roots. So anything which is growing beyond its normal area where it's supposed to grow, that is called adventitious part. So these buds are termed as adventitious buds. The buds which are produced on the leaf notch of bryophyllum is termed as adventitious buds because they are abnormally produced from a different place. So that is bryophyllum. So this is the best example for leaf working as a vegetative propagule. And the next one in artificial propagation, this is completely artificial. Till now what we have studied is vegetative propagation, which is coming under asexual reproduction, and these are all naturally supported. And what we are going to learn now is an artificial one. Manually we have to sort it out. So this is artificial, it's a pure artificial one. Naturally these things won't happen. So this is an artificial propagation. So first what you can see in this picture, the first three plant is the best known example for grafting. Okay, grafting. You can see the word graft here. Graft is joining two different things. That's what grafting. So grafting is a kind of artificial propagation where we can mix two different plants of same kind. Actually, they have to be same species. You can't do artificial propagation with completely different plant. You have to go with a little bit closer related plants. So, for example, like this is the plant. This is you can see this commonly even in trees also this is possible to do. So this is a plant, I can give you an example like mango. Mango is the most commonly grafted one in agricultural way. So we can go with an example of mango. So this is a mango of yeah, you can say one variety of mango, like a very common wild variety of mango, which will be growing very well. And this is a stem which I am getting from the cultivated variety, which will be producing a excellent tasting fruit. Okay, excellently tasting fruit. So this is called scion. The part which is supplied for the stem is called scion, and the part which is supplied for the root is called a stalk. So root is from one plant and the stem part is from another plant, scion and stalk. Okay. Now what they are doing is they have to cut, they have to make a slanting cut. Why it should be a slanting cut? It shouldn't be a proper vertical section. It shouldn't be. What is the reason behind this is when we have a slanting cut, we are increasing the surface area which are being in contact later. Okay, so this much area will be in contact with that new plant so that their cells can go sync with, they will be developing their xylem, the xylem will get completely fused up, their phloem will get completely united, because there will be regeneration of cells and they will completely go well with, as they belongs to same variety. So they will be developing into a new plant. Later, after some days, after this grafting, they are just wrapping and waxing. That is to prevent infection. They shouldn't ooze out any matter, right? This thing has to go sync well with. So we are doing this wrapping and waxing. So if you keep like this, after some days, these plants will grow together. So this is a kind of artificial propagation which we can go well with a completely grown rooted plant and also a completely grown branch. But the only condition is they have to be of same species. That is the only condition. They have to be of same kind. You can't grow coconut on top of mango. That's not possible because their xylem and phloem may not go sync well with. Okay, internally there will be so many differences. So internal union has to be there in the cells. Then only it will be supporting the regular grafting. Okay, so that is the only one condition, and this is comparatively a cheaper one and easier one to when compared with all other propagation methods. This is the very cheapest one, and the condition behind this is a little bit complicated because you can't raise a mango, you can't you can't go well with this kind of method. You can't go well with in monocots. What I'm trying to say is you can't exhibit this kind of grafting in monocot plants, weak stemmed plants. Okay, that is what the correct word I have to say, weak stemmed plants. So weak stemmed plants can't undergo grafting process, or grafting cannot be done with weak stemmed plant. We have to go to do with this practice only with the well grown plants, only with the trees especially. Okay, I'm actually searching for words when I'm going with 8th standard because yeah, you are small kids, right? That's why and sorry for that. And the next one is cutting. Okay, so this is cutting. What does the word mean? Cut is just simple chop. So this, with the help of a blade, we are just cutting. This is what the regular practice, what we could see in rows. In every family, the mother would be fond of rows, and they will be getting the stem cutting from somewhere. Somehow they will manage to get a stem cutting, and then they will plant it in a pot. Okay, and then what is the only condition here? The stem cut has to be a slanting one, and over the cut, or the cut has to possess minimum 3 or 4 nodes. One node has to be inserted, minimum one node has to be inserted into the soil or compost. Okay, then only the rooting will be possible. And nowadays, because of YouTube videos, all the parents are like so clever. They will be dipping that in honey, they will be dipping that in cardamom powder, they will be dipping that in some powder. They will enhance the growth of root very fast by doing some other practices. So that is stem cutting. Almost everyone would have tried that even once, at least once in their lifetime. So that is stem cutting. Not only the rows, even the tabletop rows, the button rows, the small one, that also is what we are doing is stem cutting. So stem cutting is a very common practice. Only thing is you have to make a cut at slanting. What is the reason? To increase the surface area which is in contact with earth or with another plant. Okay, so that is what stem cutting. And one more thing is there, that is known as layering. Layering, what we can say in layering, this is two different kind of layering that we could generally see around. So this is simple layering and this is known as air layering. So simple layering is we are practicing this generally in jasmine. The very common example is jasmine used to go with this layering process. And also some air layering can be done in even big trees like mango, neem, the branched big trees like guava. So those sort of, guava is not a big tree, but still the branch trees which are commercially important generally used to get cultivated, or from they are generally preferred to be moved, means they will be going with the air layering method. So this is simple layering method. Simple layering means from the branch which will be which is flexible, they'll be moving it near the earth, and what we need to do is at the bottom of this branch they will do a scratch, so that they will be removing the upper layer without hurting too much, without cutting the plant too deeper. They will be making a small scratch on the upper layers, and they will move it near the soil. They can have a heap of soil, they can have one handful of soil on top of the branch, and they will have a peg on it. They will have one not nail, that is peg only, that is they will be having a peg on it, so that the branch is not coming out. They will make it assure, or else sometimes they will keep a brick on it as like a weight without hurting the plant. So by doing this scratch, what we are achieving is we are just removing the upper layers, which will be enhancing root protection. And as soil is present there, we don't want to do much care there. It's just simply you have to pour water as usual. Later, after some days, you can see that new leaves are new leaves are growing out of this place, growing out of this remaining branch part. It starts to grow further in a very better way, and then they will detach it from the mother plant. They can have it, they can treat it as like a separate plant. This can be done on soil, or sometimes they will be doing this layering on a pot, so that they can easily be moved from one place to another. So this is simple layering. Air layering they are doing on branch. So if you want to move a branch, if you want to get the same, like for example, I have seen one huge tree, mango tree, which I wanted to move from that place. In my home, I have a huge tree, and which is producing a very delicious fruit, which is a very big in size. So almost all the qualities of the fruit, desirable quality, is excellent. So I don't want to leave the tree as it is. So what I'm going to do is, I can't uproot the tree. That's not good. That's not healthy too. So what I'm going to do is, I will make a small incision on the stem, on the branch, on one of the branch. Like a small ring, I can make one ring shaped cut, which is removing the external barks completely, and I'll cover that with a bunch of soil like this, and I have to cover it with a plastic wrapper, and then I have to tie it proper. And every day we have to pour water in this soil. We have to make sure that the soil is humid. So instead of soil, you can go with coir dust too. That will also do the better process. That will also do the same purpose. And they will make small holes in this for air circulation. Later, it will be producing root from this plant, from this cut part, from the cut ring shaped cut part. The roots will be produced in a profused way. So what we can do? We have to cut the bottom part. We have to detach it from the parent plant, and we can move it, remove the plastic wrapper, and plant it in the soil. So that's it. So this is very easier, very cheaper one. Okay, so this is layering method. So why we are talking about all this artificial vegetative propagation? This artificial vegetative propagation, or the vegetative propagation, is comparatively an easier one. There are so many advantages. This is a very easier method. You just imagine that this is how we are going to move a plant from one place to another. If it is normal conventional method, what they are supporting, what they are practically used to do is, they will be Yeah, here you go, the advantages and disadvantages of vegetative propagation. So we were discussing about the advantages, right? So this vegetative propagation is very cheap and easy method, and it's a very rapid one too when compared with plants which are being produced by seeds. So this plant, if it is being produced by a seed, the seed has to grow slowly. It has to produce its sapling, and then the sapling has to grow, and then it has to produce a flower and fruit. So that may take nearly some 5 years on average, for example. And if the same plant is produced by vegetative propagation, it can be produced, will be producing fruits within 6 months to 1 year. The same plant will be producing a fruit. So this is a rapid one when compared with the old conventional sexual method of reproducing organisms, offsprings. And then the characters can be preserved. This is what I said just now in layering. If I wanted to raise a plant which is of very good quality, layering can be done. That's a very apt one for the maintenance of good quality. If there is if whatever the issue is, if there is some advantage, there would be some disadvantages too. If there is a positive side, there will be a negative side too. So the disadvantages of this vegetative propagation is, mainly we need to focus on, sometimes the good characters are also transferred. The same way, negative characters may also be transferred from one to another, from one plant to another plant. So unwanted characters can also be transferred to the next generation. We can't eliminate, we can't determine only a particular character has to go or this character shouldn't go. We can't determine like that. So if you are accepting the positive characters which are being preserved, the negative characters may also be preserved. This is what the disadvantage here. And then variation cannot be seen. What is variation? In last class I taught you about that variation. When there is a combination of two different characters, we can expect a new character in an organism. But as this kind of propagation is from one single parent, you can't expect variation there. It would be the exact copy of the parent organism. So you can't see variation. And it can't be stored for a long time. The best known example is potato, onion, all those things. Can we store it for a long time? They have their own shelf life, isn't it? After that particular shelf life, what do you think? What will happen to the potato? You just go check it in your kitchen. What happened to the potato which was being bought by 1 month before or like 2 months before? If we buy a potato, it will be completely rotten, or it may go completely infected by a fungus or bacteria. So this is a very common thing. You can't store it for a long time. But in case seeds you can store for a long time, isn't it? Seeds you can store for a long time. So seeds are the product of sexual reproduction. So we are comparing this. This is a product of asexual reproduction. So asexual propagules cannot be stored for a long time, and sexual propagules can be stored for a longer time. And then fall in vigor. Vigor, what is the meaning of the word vigor is? Vigor is actually their strongness, their ability. The plant, like the quality of the plant. That is what the real vigor is. If a plant is really vigor, they have to be fertile. They have to be able to produce young one, and they need to be with good qualities. If it is a fruit, it has to be with good quality. If it is a leafy vegetable, the leaf has to be with good quality. It talks about almost all the good qualities, all the strength of the plant. So this vigor is actually reducing from generation to generation if we are going purely with vegetative propagation. The main reason behind this is variation. Variation is the one which will make it strong. Okay, so you have to understand that vegetative propagation is actually a very good, very easier, very cheaper one. But still, if a plant want to be with vigor, the plant want to sustain naturally by itself, it should have that vigor. That vigor will be available only if the plant is being raised by sexual reproduction. Okay, so the same thing like in cyclone and all, if you have noticed that the commonly cyclone sort of things will uproot the plants which are being raised by vegetative propagation. The plant which is grown naturally, the wild trees may not be getting affected by cyclones very commonly, or the percentage or the ratio would be very lesser in wild plants. The plants which are being raised by vegetative propagation or which are being raised by asexual means will grow very will grow very weak actually. This is the main reason. Their vigor will not be so good for generation after generation, that will fall gradually. So this is a advantage of this vegetative propagation. So what are the topics we have discussed today? Shall we go for a quick recap today? Today's class, we learn about vegetative propagation completely, and we have seen that root as a vegetative propagule. Root works as a vegetative propagule, and the best known example for that is a sweet potato. And stem as a propagule, this is this is subaerial stem. The best known example for subaerial stem is grass and strawberry. And then for underground stems, we discussed about 3 different things. We learned about actually 4 different things. I didn't include bulb here. So calm is there, example yam, this elephant foot yam. And then rhizome, ginger is the example, tuber potato is the example, and then bulb, onion is the example, and then leaves works as a propagule, bryophyllum is the example. And I ask you to learn about the word adventitious. And then in artificial propagation, we learn about grafting, cutting and layering. Layering may be of simple layering and also by air layering method. And then we learn about this advantages and disadvantages of vegetative propagation too. Right? So what is your homework today? So your homework is read the text. Okay, so that is your first primary homework. Read the text. And then during this Sunday, what we are going to do is you need to plant any one of the vegetative propagule you are going to plant. Okay, if you have a garden, if you have a separate backyard or kitchen garden, you can go plant it there, or else you just go with a tray which is filled with soil. That's also possible. You just take a piece of ginger from your mother. You just ask your mother, she will give you a nice piece which is a matured one, which is having a node or which is about to produce a sprout node. So she will be giving you. Those who have the chance to collect bryophyllum leaf, you just collect a bryophyllum leaf and start to grow the new plant from there. Or you can have an onion. You can try to raise an onion, or you can try to grow a potato. You can try to grow any layering or cutting or grafting. That also you can do. I'll give you time on Tuesday. No, not on Tuesday. On Monday you can show me the video. So on Sunday you are going to do this, and on Monday you have to post the video. Okay, so maybe you are taking some time to compress the video. It won't take much time, but your parents are also busy, so you will be doing that by I'm giving you some little extra time. So by Monday is your due date to submit the video for this particular work. What you are going to do on Sunday, the gardening work, or you are going to raise a new plant by using any one of the vegetative propagule. So that is your assignment that is your work for Sunday. After that you have to post on Monday. Okay, some people may be busy going to church. Prayer will be there on Sunday, so those people can utilize Monday. That's why I gave it as Monday. So Monday 5 o'clock, you have to 5 p.m. you have to upload. Before that you have to upload the video. Okay, that is your due. And then apart from that, you have to take notes and send me the picture. Okay, send me the picture of the notes. The children, those who belongs to 8A, send it to me. Those who belong to 8B, send it to Miss Vanita. So that is your homework. And today's quote. This is today's quote. Live life to the fullest and focus on the positive things. Okay, so you have to focus on positive things, whatever it is. Even this is an apt one for this current situation. So now we are under lockdown. We are staying at home without going anywhere. Especially you children, you have to stay at home because you are very susceptible. So you have to stay at home and take care of your grandparents. They are also highly susceptible in this situation. And take care of your young ones or your siblings. Stay at home. Spend some quality time with your family. Okay, half a day we are giving you work. And the rest of the time, you just remaining half day, you have to spend quality time with your parents. Help them. You just make them feel who you are. Okay, not in a wrong sense. You just make them feel the love that you have to them. okay, you have for them. You have to make them feel like they are very blessed, and you have to feel like you are very blessed. So spend some quality time with them and have fun and be safe. Stay at home. Thank you, kids.